It's Alumni Day on that Sports Dude. DC has produced so much talent. Some you know, some you don't. Don't worry, we're going to get you hip to date on how we do it here in the nation's capital. This is that Sports Dude, and we start right now. To that Sports Dude, as always, I'm your host, Chris Dunlap. Straight out of DC, that's what a lot of pro athletes can actually claim that they are, especially this big arm QB.
Multiple NCAA Bowl Series wins in college and a Super Bowl win to pros. Prior to these great accomplishments, this quarterback was a defense's nightmare while playing for the H.D. Woodson Warriors. After leading the Warriors to a DCIAA Turkey Bowl win as a senior, this all-met honorable mention would commit to play football for Marshall University. While under center versus Akron University in 2002, this Woodson alum showed off his warrior mentality. After leaving the game with a broken left tibia and being rushed to the hospital for x-rays, he would return to the game. With his teammates carrying him down the field, this leader brought Marshall back from a 17-point deflection. Akron would defeat Marshall, but this field general proved his toughness and courage.
About no Heisman. It was never about no Heisman. It's about, doing what we can do to help this team win.
In 2003, the Jacksonville Jaguars selected this big arm QB for Marshall in the top 10. He would go on to have success, most notably in 2005, when he ranked 9th in quarterback passer rating before getting hurt late in the season. As a player who has won at every level in football, Byron Leftwich will always be remembered for his strong arm and his courage.
It's always great to see a fellow Warrior doing big things. Hey, Byron, man, stay blessed. This next DC native proved that you can come from DC to NBA MVP.
Four-time NBA scoring champ, 7-time All-Star, and the 2014 NBA MVP. Before scorching the bottom of the net in the pros, this unstoppable scorer was the ruler of the DMV's high school b-ball ranks. Prior to his senior year at Montrose Christian School, this former All-MAC Player of the Year was already one of the nation's top 2 recruits of his class. Sealing his rise to stardom was an MVP performance in the 2006 McDonald's High School All-American game. Even though he played only 1 year at Texas University, this NBA-ready player was named the Naismith College Player of the Year, becoming the first freshman to win that prestigious award. Drafted 2nd overall, he wasted no time showing opponents and fans that he was a force to be reckoned with. Finishing the year averaging 20 points per game, he was named NBA Rookie of the Year. With no signs of slowing down, seeing Oklahoma City Thunder star Kevin Durant in the Basketball Hall of Fame would be no surprise.
All right, keep it locked. That Sports Dude will be right back after this. Welcome back to that Sports Dude. As always, I'm your humble host, Chris Dunlap. Alumni Day is in full effect, but before we get back to it, all the fun,
we're going to kick it back to halftime, and we're going to do my top 5. And my number 5 is Mr. Joe Gibbs himself. And Joe Gibbs was a very, very legendary coach. And what I mean by legendary, whether he's here or not, legends are not forgotten. He's a two-sport coach. So he's considered one of the greatest coaches of all time in any sport you want to call it. Joe Gibbs won, I want to predominantly believe, 3 Super Bowls with, 2 different quarterbacks and a whole lot of speed. I like to talk about my number 4 coach, who is Mr. Perfect himself, Mr. 17-0, which I don't think will ever go, is Don Shooter, which is my grandfather used to call him Don the Cool Shooter. Never lost his cool, but you can't lose if you're in Miami so long. But I think Don Shooter is decorated as one of the most coaches, predominantly for his most perfect season. But before that, Don Shooter was one of the all-time winning coaches in college too, at one point in time. But that's a whole nother step, a whole nother thing. And I'm gonna go back to my number 3 coach. And when I mean number 3, it goes back to Mr. Can I call him perfect? Or can I just say, Mr. Playbook, he has all the kids losing friendship, gaining friendship, then he got us living dreams through a game. Mr. John Madden himself. He has 1 Super Bowl, which he beat my favorite team. That's nothing we want to remember. But John Madden gave my team a lot of the opposite of happy. John Madden was very decorated. One of, if not the most, one of the most winningest coaches of all time. He's the top 5 winningest coach of all time. He never had not one losing season as a Raiders head coach, but as a coach of the career. And if I had to break it back to my number 2 and my number 1, that means Tom Landry. Tom Landry. And when we think of Tom, we think of Tom Brady, Tom Jerry, or Uncle Tom. But we're going to go back to Tom Landry. He revolutionized the defense. Mr. 4-3 himself. He revolutionized the flex defense he created. He revolutionized the quarterback position as a shotgun to make the Tom Brady that we talk about today even possible. Don Shula can be considered the greatest coach of all time. Don Shula, you can throw the guy. Tom Landry. Can you have that one? Tom Landry can be considered the greatest coach of all time. Tom Landry can be considered the maker of football. And what I mean the maker of football is the man revolutionized the offense and the defense in a matter of 1 season. And my number 1, speaking of number 1, rest in peace, happy Father's Day to him, Mr. Vince Lombardi himself. And you gotta be brave for trophy there now. This ain't nothing else to be said. There's nothing to be said. Mr. Trophy himself, Mr. Statue, the coach of coaches. The man can break down a play to the point that he can make your best friend look like your worst friend. He can make your best offensive player look like he should belong in everything. Vince Lombardi is a trophy. He is football. He is the coach of coaches. He is. What can I say to Vince Lombardi? What's the perfect word for him? He's perfect. And my bonus coach, which I want to give you guys, because that round's my top 5. But my bonus coach, I would give you people, would be Mr. Bill Belichick himself. It was hard to leave him out, which I didn't want to, but then I did. Bill Belichick himself is very decorated. He goes by that sweater that he always wears so much. I hope you watch it. I really hope you watch it. But I know he saved a whole lot of money on clothes in his years of coaching. Because I seen the same thing for almost 17 years. But Bill Belichick is Mr. Cool, so he keeps cool in any situation. He's won 4 rings. 4 rings with Tom Brady. He's dealing with, I want to believe, if I got my research right, 72 different receivers. I think he did with over 300 something different players, and I think he got a lot of people paid his Deion Branch was one of them. But that rounds up my top 5. Well, I did 10. I can't count that, so I ain't mad. So that includes my top 5. I'm halftime.
Before he was a Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Famer or an 11-time NBA All-Star, this NBA legend was dominating the DC high school basketball court as a member of the Spingarn Green Wave. After being named to the DC All-City team twice, this scoring machine was then named the DMV's 1954 High School Player of the Year in a season where he had an astounding 63-point game. After a successful collegiate career, this high scorer was drafted first overall by the then Minneapolis Lakers. Drafted to be the franchise's savior, he would not disappoint. After averaging 25 points per game in his first season, he was named NBA Rookie of the Year. From there, the show was on. Now established as a premier player, he dominated the court, averaging 35 points and 12 rebounds, while leading the Lakers to multiple NBA final appearances. His greatest feat, you ask? How about a 71-point game against the Knicks in 1960? Recognized as one of the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball, Elgin Baylor will be forever carved into sports immortality. Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, top 10 NFL draft pick. Before earning achievements synonymous with NFL glory, this all-pro tight end was dominating the DC High School gridiron as a member of the Dunbar Crimson Tide. As a player who could do it all, this former DC Gatorade Player of the Year's breakaway speed and brute strength on both sides of the ball made him a man amongst boys on the field. By his senior year, he had led Dunbar to multiple DCIAA Turkey Bowl victories and had become one of the nation's top football recruits. After graduating from Dunbar, he would go on to play college football for the Maryland Terrapins, where he set himself apart from other tight ends at the collegiate level. Now a two-time Pro Bowler and a Super Bowl champion, this Dunbar alum is coming home. Signing as a free agent, this DC native is now a Washington Redskin.
It was a dream. It was always a dream as a kid, just playing for the Washington Redskins. I mean, this was my team as a kid, right? Yeah, right. And then all of a sudden, I wake up and then, I'm signing a contract to play here. And I get here, I'm like, wow, this is all surreal to me. It still hasn't really hit me yet, but I know it will eventually, as things continue to get moving. But I'm very, very excited, elated to be here, and I look forward to the upcoming season.